Hawaii. When we think of Hawaii, we think of paradise. Coral sand beaches, coconut palms gently swaying in the ocean breeze, waterfalls, rainbows. Hawaii is all these things and many more. In fact, Hawaii has a deep, dark little secret, a secret the U.S. government wouldn't like you to know about.
The American agenda tonight, a most significant presidential apology. At the White House yesterday, President Clinton signed a formal letter of apology to the people of Hawaii. He was apologizing on behalf of the U.S. government for the government's involvement 100 years ago in removing the independent Hawaiian monarchy by force. And on the agenda tonight, Hawaiian identity. Native Hawaiians who say, "Give us back our country."
Touristic Hawaii, hundreds of people demonstrate and the president apologizes. The reason? The United States government, that considers Hawaii the 50th state of the Union, has in fact admitted that a century ago it committed an abuse.
In 1993, the U.S. government passed a law. This was approved by the Congress, the Senate, and ultimately signed into law by President Clinton. And this was a confession, flat out. Public Law 103-150 was a confession. And in that confession, the United States admitted to all sorts of crimes, and it further admitted that the Hawaiian nation never relinquished its rights.
But if Hawaii is the 50th state of the Union since 1959, why is it that in 1993, President Bill Clinton apologized for the usurpation the original inhabitants of the archipelago were victims of? To understand this situation, let's do some history. Hawaii is an archipelago formed by 8 islands, situated in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. They were probably populated by immigrants from faraway lands. They created a socially and politically advanced society.
Native Hawaiians are Polynesians. They come from a land they call Kahiki, which is the homeland, and many believe that to be Tahiti or the Marquesas. And perhaps we're here as early as 100 BC, perhaps a little bit later than that. Two-way voyaging continued for many centuries, and then by about the 12th or 13th century, Hawaiians were living here pretty much on their own and developing a much more stratified society. And that led to the development of different island kingdoms here amongst the chain. So you had a kingdom of Kauai, a kingdom of Oahu, kingdom of Maui, and of Hawaii Island.
Its founding king, Kamehameha the Great, unified the societies of the archipelago. Their soil began to yield food for the inhabitants of Hawaii. However, the Hawaiian kingdom would not be alone for long. By the same sea from where the original inhabitants of Hawaii came from, visitors from other lands would arrive.
Contact with foreigners of European or American descent comes in 1778 with the arrival of Captain Cook. It is speculated that there may have been other encounters prior to that, but it's not documented.
Captain James Cook, a British explorer and sailor, established contact with the inhabitants of Hawaii. In 1794, the British explorer George Vancouver gave the court of King Kamehameha a Union Jack as a token of friendship from King George III. The Hawaiian kingdom added the Union Jack to its own flag as an act of recognition for the gesture of British friendship. In spite of the foreign presence in Hawaii, mainly Britain at the time, as well as other ethnic groups, King Kamehameha gave his kingdom its own identity. He gained international recognition.
In 1843, the Kingdom of Hawaii was indeed recognized as an independent nation-state, as a member of the family of nations, through treaties with the United States, Great Britain, and France, and I believe about 20 other nations of Europe. And this was meant to secure the sovereignty of the nation through those treaty agreements that were then made. And so from that point on, 1843, the Kingdom of Hawaii is indeed recognized as an independent nation-state.
As the monarch consolidated the archipelago as a sovereign state, the Kingdom of Hawaii also created a society of citizens with its own identity, an independent state.
In the 19th century, the term Hawaiian was an indicator of citizenship or membership to the Hawaiian Kingdom, which throughout the 19th century was an independent country, independent state. Beginning in 1843, the Hawaiian Kingdom was actually the first non-European territory in the world to become an independent and recognized state.
As a sign of recognition of Hawaii's independence, several members of the Hawaiian royal family travel all over the world on official visits. They were welcomed by kingdoms and republics as the true representatives of a sovereign kingdom. In the meantime, Western immigrants continued to arrive in Hawaii. By the start of the 19th century, a few American settlers were already living in the archipelago.
So as the American settler population continued to grow, their interest in business continued to grow. They oftentimes were pressuring the monarchs, pressuring the government to develop things, or for the government to develop and the economy to develop in a way that these settlers would find most comfortable.
A group of settlers, mainly American, formed an organization of landowners. They controlled the production of sugar cane.